Good day, everybody, and welcome to another week of home learning. Today we are going to look at writing. As you might remember, last week we started writing our stories and we thought about what our characters would be, or who our characters would be, and what our setting would be, so where our story happens. When we learned last week, we also said that a story has 3 parts, and so that's one of our learning success criteria. It says, I know that a story has 3 main parts. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so when we looked at characters and setting last week, that was what happens in the beginning of the story. It tells us the somebody and the somewhere. Now, before I carry on, let's just remind ourselves of our learning intention. It says, we are learning what the different elements or the parts of a story are so that we can write our own stories. Okay, so we've said we will be successful if we know that there are 3 main parts of a story. So a beginning, a middle, and an end. Today we are going to start looking at the middle. Okay, and in the middle it says what the character wanted or wants to do. Okay, so what did the character want or want to do? And then what was the problem the character faced? There's a but. The character wanted to do something, but something happened. So let's have a look at some more detail about the problem. The problem is called conflict. Okay, the problem is called the conflict in the story. So let's read the story of the princess and the frog again and find out what is the conflict in the story. What is the problem? Here goes. The princess and the frog. Once upon a time, a fairy turned a prince into a frog. The frog had to be kissed by a princess to become a prince again. The frog lived alone in a pond until one day a princess dropped her gold ball in the water. The frog told the princess that he would get her ball for her in exchange for a kiss. The princess really wanted her gold ball back, so she kissed the frog. The frog turned back into a prince, and the princess was very surprised. The prince told the princess how he became a frog, and they lived happily ever after in a big castle. Okay, so let's have a look. What did the character want? So when I look at that story, I think that the princess wanted her ball. So she dropped a ball in the pond. I think that's a problem. And she wanted her ball back. What do you think? Do you think that's a problem? Let's take our highlighter and highlight that. So let's see. The frog lived alone in a pond. I think that was a bit of a problem for the frog as well. One day, a princess dropped her gold ball in the water. Okay. What did she want? She wanted her ball back, didn't she? But how was she going to get her ball back? The frog told the princess that he would get her ball for her in exchange for a kiss. Now, the princess really wants her ball back, but I don't think she really wants to kiss a frog. If we look at our conflict poster here at the top, it says, the princess is thinking, is the frog really a prince, and should I kiss the frog? So she's thinking about that. She's a little bit conflicted about that. Okay, so that answered our question, what did the character want, but what was the problem? Now, what I'd like you to do is go and look at our 2 stories that you've been given. The one is called The Lost Bicycle, and see what is the problem in that story. Okay, what is the conflict? What was the problem? What did the character want, and what was the problem? Now, I'm going to stop here for now because I'd like to spend a little bit more time on the next part, which is the resolution. So we'll call that part 2. Have fun with finding the conflict in your stories, and when you've done that, also go and find a book of your own on your bookshelf and see if you can find the conflict in that book. Remember, the conflict is the problem the character had. What is the problem? Have fun. Bye.